Welcome, eternal traveler. Each journey here is a whisper of the mystical and a touch of the divine. If touching the source wisdom speaks to your spirit, please like, subscribe, and share. Now relax, and let's begin. The woman at the door. I had gone to bed last night after stepping into the hallway to turn up the heat. It was about 25 degrees outside, the kind of cold that slips into the joints, but my bedroom was warm and still. I sat on the edge of the bed and placed my hands gently in the center of my chest. I spoke mentally to the body my conscious awareness was within. I expressed appreciation to this extraordinary colony of billions of cooperating beings and thanked it for its steady service, for its harmony, and for keeping its own universe intact. Seth Speaks was playing softly in the background when I finally lay back on the bed. And after a short stretch of nothingness, the familiar shift occurred. I became aware inside the back seat of a car parked in a driveway. I knew instantly, without any reason to know, that I was in a Central Florida neighborhood. Ahead of me stood a house with a young, Chinese-looking woman at the door, gathering a couple of packages into her arms. I didn't know her, yet I felt as if I'd been watching her for a long time, like a private investigator building a case I couldn't justify. An urge rose up in me. I needed to confront her. I opened the door and stepped out. By the time I reached the porch, she had already slipped inside. I knocked, and she opened the door as if she'd been expecting me. Her eyes were captivating, ancient, wide, and calm. Without a word, she stepped aside and let me enter. The next thing I knew, I was standing at the sink inside her home. She stood before me, still silent, but wholly magnetic. I didn't know her name, didn't know her story, and yet I knew I had been following her for some time. The moment I saw her face up close, all desire to expose or pursue her evaporated. I reached up and brushed my hand across her cheek. The sensation was almost overwhelming, like touching something both familiar and forbidden. "You are beautiful," I said softly. "How old are you?" She smiled but gave no answer. I knew somehow that she was very, very old, and yet looked no older than 29. When I told her as much, she smiled again, and the entire scene collapsed into blackness. I resurfaced inside a thrift store donation center, the kind of place where everything carries a faint musky scent and a long second life. The room wasn't large. Off in the aisles, with her back turned to me, stood my mother. She never faced me, but I knew it was her. I called to her lightly, telling her that if she kept looking, she could find some really good stuff. Then something strange happened. My feet left the ground. I began to rise toward the ceiling, slowly, effortlessly, without a single quiver of fear. From above, the room looked far smaller than it did from the floor, almost like a miniature. And I could see things I couldn't see before. Hoodies and clothes neatly folded, treasures tucked among what had looked like clutter from below. What required digging and imagination on the ground was simple and obvious from above. All I had needed was elevation. The dream shifted again with no warning. I was lying on my back on an enormous floor that felt like an old grade school gymnasium, slick, echoing, and familiar in a way I couldn't place. To my left lay Stephanie, the mother of my old girlfriend. To my right was Michelle herself, who has long since departed this physical reality. Our relationship had been a knot of love and conflict, something I let go of years ago, yet here she was, silent and present. The three of us began sliding across the floor together on our backs, pushing ourselves with the bottoms of our feet. It was oddly coordinated, almost rhythmic, as if we had practiced it many times before. Stephanie kept talking, delighted just to be speaking with me, completely unbothered by Michelle's silence or by my lack of attention toward her daughter. Michelle simply moved with us, participating but withdrawn. Stephanie seemed determined to stay connected to me, whether her daughter was or not. And then the sliding stopped. The gym floor vanished. Suddenly my eyes opened, and I was in my Kentucky apartment, warm under the covers, heart steady, breath soft. I lay there for a moment, savoring everything that had just unfolded. When I look back at this dream, I can feel its message woven through all three scenes. The mysterious woman at the door was the hidden part of me, the ancient, ageless self I've been trying to track down, investigate, and understand. The one I study from afar but fall in love with the moment I see clearly. She was the version of me I've been building a case against, only to realize she is innocence itself. The thrift store was my mind, crowded with memories, identities, and discarded versions of who I once thought I was. From the floor, it all looks like clutter. But the moment I rise in consciousness, everything becomes treasure. All the things I thought were worthless or lost transform into gifts waiting to be recognized. And the gymnasium, that was the arena of my past relationships. Old entanglements, old emotional echoes, and versions of me pulling in different directions. Sliding across that floor with them showed me how much I've moved beyond that chapter, yet how the energy of it still glides along beside me until it is fully acknowledged and released. Stephanie's non-stop chatter, Michelle's silence, the balancing of old roles still trying to find their way to closure. Every character was me, every scene was me, every shift was me. The world is myself pushed out, even in dreams. And everyone we meet anywhere, anytime, is another version of ourself who has temporarily forgotten who they really are. We are playing this game of life so that we may know the self. For the self is one, and the one is comprised of the many. Until the next time. And so it is.